What's going on, gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode in our character series. Last episode, we talked about anger, which we still need to do a part 2 for. We're just waiting on me and Guy's schedule to click up, but that just hasn't happened yet. So we're going to move on to appreciation tonight, and the importance of this and how we show our appreciation to the people in our lives and God. For a lot of us men, expressing appreciation and honoring people can be very difficult. And I've been learning the importance of this over the last couple of years. And if any of you know Guy, and we mentioned this, Amber and I did in our Status No episode that we just released. We did one on kind of appreciation and just the spirit of gratitude. Guy is a shining example of this. So if you know Guy, if Guy is in your life, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Excuse me. And my wonderful wife also recently just shined a very bright light on why I struggle with showing appreciation for people in my life. And in her words, I wish I could take credit for this, but in her words, not mine, she said, I think you value what you invest in. And that hit me, because it made me think about, do I really value the people in my life? Do I value the friendships that God's brought into my life? Do I value my employer? Do I value my relationship with God? How much am I investing in these relationships? How much am I investing in my marriage? That will show you how much you value these things. And for so long, I have been really a lone wolf. So I've done a lot of life on my own because all of my friends were my drug dealers. So when I wasn't buying drugs and hanging out with them, I was doing drugs on my own. So I didn't build that muscle of how to value a friendship, how to value a relationship, how to show people that I appreciate them and that I respect them and honor them. That was never anything that I had to do because, drugs don't care. Drugs make you blind to almost everything in your life. But over the past couple of years, I've really been starting to see the value of having men in your life that you can talk to and appreciate. For example, over the past year, I've been asked to write a couple of appreciation letters to a couple different men in my life, and I just didn't do it. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was weird. I didn't understand why I had to write another man a letter telling him how much I love him and I appreciate him. That was odd to me. But as Amber and I were talking about this, God spoke to me and was like, hey, what do you think Paul was doing when he was writing letters to the churches? He wasn't just rebuking them and telling them how to live. If you look at the beginning of all of Paul's letters in the New Testament, and probably even more than just Paul, but he was talking to me specifically about Paul. But he starts out by thanking them, by telling them how much he appreciates them, how much he loves them, how much he's praying for them. So then I started to see, okay, this is important, that we show people that we appreciate them. We ourselves like to feel appreciated for our efforts and how we care for people. If I never got shown how much I was appreciated, I would just feel taken advantage of. So if I'm never showing my wife how much I appreciate her and telling her how much I appreciate her, she's going to feel taken advantage of. If somebody's always reaching out to me to check in with me and see how I'm doing, but I'm not reciprocating that, they're going to feel taken advantage of. And that's just not a good way to steward our relationships. Why is it that there's 2 points that I want to talk about, and we'll save the best for last. But the first point I want to talk about is why I think men struggle with this so much. The actual showing of appreciation, because we can appreciate people. We just have a hard time showing it, a hard time saying it. Why? For men in particular, I fully believe that it's pride showing its true colors. And as you men know, we struggle with pride. We don't want to seem weak. We don't want to seem, I'm just going to go with weak. We don't want to seem weak. So God warns us of being prideful. There's many scriptures in the Bible that talk about pride and just the downfall that pride can bring. But in James 4:6, God warns us against this, and he says that God opposes the proud. So God detests pride. It actually makes us an enemy of God if we are prideful. And if we believe that we can do anything outside of Jesus and his goodness, then what we are declaring is, God, I don't really need you. And I think if we never show honor or appreciation to the men in our lives who are walking this thing out with us, then what we are saying without really saying the words is, guys, I got this. What you have to offer is less than what I can accomplish on my own. I don't need your advice. I don't really need your help. And just because you're not outwardly arrogant or necessarily saying those words to them, our actions will speak volumes. So if I'm not honoring and expressing appreciation to my brothers and to my leaders and to my wife, then this will lead me to really being alone and ultimately my downfall. I've done the lone wolf walk. It's not great. It's very unhealthy. And we all need this brotherhood around us so that we can really be honest with each other and with ourselves. But it's important that we are expressing that to each other. That, hey, man, I appreciate you. I know you've been praying for me. I appreciate you for that. I appreciate the phone call. I appreciate the text. People will only really give so much before they feel like they're being taken advantage of. And then, just like I said, before you know it, you are again alone and more than likely struggling. If you are married or in a serious relationship, I think we can all agree that honoring your wives is right underneath honoring and expressing appreciation for God. We are commanded to love our wives like Christ loved the church. And remember, actions will speak louder than words. So we should not just be telling our wives that we love and appreciate them. I think they should know that already, but we should be expressing this in our actions daily. Find out what your wife's love language is. Is it quality time? Is it acts of service? Is it physical touch? Whatever her love language is, no matter how hard it is for you to express that, that needs to be expressed. She needs to see that you love her. Not just hear the words, because words can feel very empty and hollow if they're never backed up by anything. So, how can I serve you? What do you need? Where can you take the burden off of her? And these are just things that I've had to learn over these past few years, that for years I spent a long time not loving my wife right. And I would venture to even say not loving her at all. So be aware of these things and start to do them. Our wives, our daughters, our kids, we should be treating them and speaking to them as such, as like they are a gift from God, because that's what they are. The last point, we're already almost at 10 minutes. The last and most important part that I want to talk about is what living a life of appreciation actually is, right? So living a life of appreciation, I think, is so much more than saying thank you to people and reaching out and showing them that you appreciate them. Yes, those are the fruits of a life of appreciation, but us as believers should live this way because a life of gratitude and appreciation is a part of a life of worship. It's all about a heart posture towards God. Our relationship with God is not about doing right or not doing wrong. It's having a heart for God. And part of that is he wants us to live with a heart of worship. So worship is not just singing songs on Sunday mornings or singing a song in your car on the way to work. That's praising God, and that's wonderful. I do that every single day. I love praising God, but living with a heart of worship is so much more than that. It is a day in and day out being thankful for everything that Jesus has done for you, for everything that Jesus has redeemed you from and set you free from. It's having that heart of gratitude and appreciation to our Creator and our Savior for who He is. And out of living that way, out of having that mindset that I am so thankful, God, that you called me and that you found me, that you reached down and pulled me out of my darkness and showered me with love and grace and mercy and forgiveness. God has redeemed so many parts of my life. How could I not be thankful? And that spirit of gratitude should start to overflow into every area of your life. That's why it's easier for me to be appreciative to my wife, because I know what Jesus has done for me. I know who Jesus is to me. I know who God is. And it when you have that revelation and that experience with God, you can't help but be thankful. You can't help but have just this heart of gratitude that starts to spill out into every area. So if you're having a hard time being appreciative of what you have, of who's in your life, start to question your relationship with God. And let that start to be kind of your prayer. God, give me a heart of appreciation. Show me who you really are. Begin to reveal to me everything that you've saved me from, everything that you've stripped out of my life that was causing me to fall and just live in darkness. Because once you start to see that, there's no way you cannot be thankful. I could have $0 to my name, and I could still find a way to be grateful because God has saved me from eternal damnation. But not just that, He's given me joy and peace in every season. That's the gift that we get to walk in here on earth. So by living with a heart of appreciation for God, that opens the door for us to live a heart or a life of appreciation for all the people in our life, all the relationships, our marriage, our kids, our jobs, yada, yada, yada. So, that's appreciation. And it's a lifestyle of worship. It's living with a heart of praise to God and just being thankful for everything that Jesus has done. And that should bleed into showing appreciation for our brothers much easier. Guys, I appreciate you. I love you guys. And I hope this helped kind of open your eyes to just how we can start appreciating God for everything that He's done and appreciating the men in our lives as we just constantly try to grow together and walk this thing out, because it can be tough at times. So I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.